60 Minutes Overtime.
Assistant U.S. Attorney Jamie McCall and Homeland Security Special Agent Mark Alexa brought two of the suspected stolen Columbus letters to the Smithsonian Conservation Lab in Maryland.
Why did you go to the Smithsonian for help in this case?
The Smithsonian's able to identify, have chemical agents been used to bleach the library stamps? Have the typed characters on the letters been altered in any way? Are the paper fibers disturbed? All of which is very important evidence for us in our investigation.
You went down there as well?
I did.
Did you ever let these letters leave your sight?
They were never out of my sight.
Never out of your sight?
No.
Imaging specialist Keats Webb used non-invasive digital imaging technology to take different raking light views of the 500-year-old documents.
So it's picking up things that wouldn't necessarily be visible with the naked eye.
So it can reveal some things that may not be visible to the naked eye, but it also can enhance some things that may be harder to see.
So if something had been modified or erased, it would be able to pick that up.
It would help to enhance some of those features and look at those.
Paper conservator Norah says both letters showed physical evidence they had been tampered with.
What I can see in the center, in this sort of circular area, is something that's very disrupted. It's very changed from this smooth, modern hand-pressed paper of that time. But here in this area, it's all mottled and just frankly weird.
Weird?
Weird.
What do you suspect happened here?
Well, the circular form is pretty specific, and Mark asked us to look for potential evidence of there having been property stamps. And it's typical for libraries or personal collections for people to have marked their books and letters and important documents throughout time. They're very proud of having something like that. So the fact that there's a perfectly circular irregularity in the middle of an area where somebody would have very proudly shown their worth by having this object and keeping somebody from walking away with it.
This is where ordinarily there would be a stamp.
Ordinarily.
They found evidence a chemical bleaching agent had been used to remove the original library stamp from the Riccardiana Library in Florence.
Definitely it was delivered somewhat aggressively. So I think that was a pretty good hard and fast stamp that somebody really wanted to get gone.
They also examined a second Columbus letter authorities recovered from a wealthy Brazilian buyer. That letter was noticeably smaller in size than it should have been.
And it's, again, a very elegant Columbus letter, beautiful quality of print, great paper, but the proportions of it are a little odd. They're a little off. It was very severely trimmed, such that there was a very evident property mark on the bottom of the object, but the margin was really tight.
Norah Lokshin says the letter had been trimmed, cutting away part of the original library stamp from the National Library of Catalonia in Barcelona. The stamp had also been partially removed with a chemical agent.
Might that suggest that somebody did not want someone else, potentially a purchaser, to know where this came from?
Yes, I mean, it certainly can be what one would call a red herring.
A lot of inconsistencies, a lot of weird going on here, isn't there?
It's a lot weird, but the very interesting thing is it's an absolutely true document. It's not a forgery. This is a document, a letter that someone has gone through a lot of trouble to make look a little bit different from an object which is described somewhere, which might be written up in an art history book, which might be written up in a library catalog. So it's a very beautiful, lovely document with sort of a new past.
You conclude this is authentic. You're seeing all these alterations, all this doctoring, and yet you're concluding this is being done to the original authentic document.
Exactly. It's trying to give a new history to an old book.